Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers Beast Wars #1. The Transmissions Best of 2020 survey is now up, and you gotta check out these vintage Transformers costumes. Today is Friday, February 5th, 2021, and this is episode 219 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's wondering when Reddit will start telling people to buy IDW stock and hold the line. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. But it's just Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
It's just me? I mean, it's just me, but you said it like, oh, it's just me. Oh, goodness. Let's talk Transformers.
It's just Daryl? It's Daryl Justice? Daryl for Justice? Justice Daryl?
Oh, my.
Anyway, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support the show. And if you are not a Donatreon and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You can also support the show by buying merchandise from our TeePublic store at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can check out our friend K-Girl store at tpublic.com/user/superstark. All those shirts and mask designs give us a little bit of commission. And if you buy anything from TeePublic through our link, that helps out the show. So transmissionspodcast.com/shop. We've got the Best of 2020 survey that's live. We put it out last week, and we've still got another week to go. So if you have not put in your entry, please go to transmissionspodcast.com/best of 2020 and tell us what your favorite comics and toys of 2020, Transformers comics and toys of 2020 were. We've already got over 200 entries at the time of this recording. So thank you for the great response to the survey. We've also got coming up next Monday, we've got the uncut version of the latest episode of Empire of Rust, episode 42, Fix It Fabrication Jr. And so the Donatreon exclusive full-length uncut episode with all the outtakes left in, that's coming out Monday, February 8th. So you can get that on our Patreon page if you are a Donatreon. All right, now let's get into some comics news. All right, so we've got covers for the next couple of issues of Transformers comics. We've got Back to the Future issue 3 and Transformers 29. So Back to the Future Transformers Back to the Future, I should say, issue 3. That's art by Dan Schoening. So he is the regular Ghostbusters artist and also did the Transformers Ghostbusters crossover last year. So it's cool to see that art. And it says this book is not coming till February 24th. So we've got a little time. I don't know why the Back to the Future book is taking so long to come out. Like the first issue was October. I thought the series would be done by now.
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah, so.
Although I like the cover. It's an RI cover.
Yeah.
It's a nice picture of Doc and Einstein with his, what I would appear is an Energon gun, I guess. But it's his, like genius rifle or whatever the hell he's done. Yeah. But you got a giant pile of Energon cubes in the back and the clock tower and further on in the back. It's a good image. It's
a little bit lacking the Transformers, but it's got references.
Although his gun might be Voss. I don't know.
Could be.
And I mean, and Einstein might be K9 from Beast Wars.
That's more of a stretch. We've also got issue 29 of Transformers. So this is scheduled for March 17th. So this is still a couple months away. So this is art by EJ Sue. And this is a really cool image. It looks like there's maybe a terrorist attack or Decepticon attack here. And we've got, it looks like in front and center, is that Swerve, or is that one of the Sparkabots or something, or
I think that's Swerve.
Firecons. You think it's Swerve?
Yeah, I think it's Swerve. I think it's G1 Swerve. Okay.
And then we've got looks like Thundercracker or just a blue Seeker in the background, and then Mind Wipe. Is that Mind Wipe on the left there? So they're all running away from an explosion. So it's not telling you a lot. So nothing really spoiled for for this issue. So we'll find out, I guess, in a couple of months what's going on here. So that's some nice cover art. We've also got
one more. Can I add one more?
Sure.
Late breaking, not late breaking. I mean, if you've been paying attention to the internet and to Transformers artists and stuff, you probably know what I'm going to mention. But there's a book coming out this week. So if you're hearing this, then the book's already out. But you might be able to still get it from your comic book store of choice. But it's called Avengers Mech Strike #1, and this is it's an Avengers book with it's with mechs. So this is, I'm going to put some images here in the Discord, and I'll make sure that they're in the show notes as well. But this first cover A for this book is done by Keizama.
Oh, nice.
And there is a variant cover. There's actually 3 variant covers. I mean, it's Marvel, right? So, but there is one of the variant covers is this one, and it is done by EJ Sue. So
they poached all the Transformers artists for their mech.
They did. It's like designs. They knew that they had to do something, because somebody was really good at drawing mechs. So, yeah. But I'm going to pick this up, and from what I can tell, Keizama has done the covers, at least one of the covers for all 3 issues so far that have been announced. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that for her. Working for the big one of the big 2 is pretty big news, and I'll hopefully the story's kind of good. You never know until you read it, but the art looks great. The cover art looks great. So
yeah, and Quattro was asking the same thing I was thinking of in the chat here, but I understand, like, for a lot of the heroes, them wearing a mech would be fine. I like it. Even Spider-Man, he could have a mech suit, sure. Captain America could have a mech suit. Black Panther, he can get a mech suit. The Hulk, I don't think needs a mech suit.
Well, I don't know. Got to read the book. Pick up the first issue, true. Read the book.
Okay, I will. But Captain Marvel, I don't think she needs a mech suit either. I mean, she's essentially, like, she's got the same powers as, like, she's almost Superman level power in the Marvel universe.
Are you going to deny her a suit? If she wants a suit, she can have a suit, Charles.
Yeah, she can have a suit. I just think she doesn't need it.
If she wants a suit, she can have a suit. I'm not going to tell her she can't.
I'm curious. So yeah, this has my interest. I will, if hopefully my shop will get some extras since I didn't reserve this one. So I might check it out.
Cool.
All right. Avengers Mech Strike. We've also got interior art from the first Beast Wars issue that's coming out this week. And Josh Burcham has put up on his, I think he put this on social media, on his Twitter. He put, like, the process for him generating the images the interior art. So he goes from pencils to lines to colors. Because of course, Josh Burcham is a longtime colorist, so he colors his own art. So it's really cool to see how the progression he's gone through to create this art here. So you got one of the first pages. So that's cool. And we're going to review the whole issue this episode. So you'll hear our thoughts. But I do want to congratulate Josh Burcham on getting a full-time book here and working on Beast Wars. I know Beast Wars is one of his favorites, like mine. So it's cool that he's getting a chance to put his stamp on the Beast Wars story.
Nice.
And the last bit of news. So we mentioned the Back to the Future, Transformers Back to the Future crossover. So the writer of that crossover, Kevin Scott, has an interview on the Spoiler Country podcast. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes. The interview was done by Jeff Haas. So you can check that out, listen to it. It's about an hour long, so I haven't gotten the chance to listen to it yet. But I'm sure if you're interested in the Transformers Back to the Future crossover, it'll be a fun listen. So check that out. Kevin Scott, the writer on Transformers Back to the Future. Now we will move on to our comic review. All right, this week we are reviewing Transformers Beast Wars #1, Savage Landing Part 1. Written by Eric Burnham, art and colors by Josh Burcham, letters by Jake M. Wood, assistant editor Riley Farmer, editor David Marriott, and supervising editor Tom Waltz. And I'm a little bit sad Jeremy couldn't make it this week, but he has promised to record his own thoughts and add them into the show, so we'll leave a little space for him at the end. But yeah, I'm going to have to defend the honor of Beast Wars from our own Cybertronian beast. So
I'm coming for you.
All right, so we got 4 covers this week. So we've got cover A is by Josh Burcham, and it's the Maximals in the foreground with Megatron in the background. We've got cover B by Dan Schoening and Luis Antonio Delgado. And this is Optimus Primal in robot mode with Dinosaur Megatron in the background right behind him. Then we've got the retailer incentive A, and that's all the original Beast Wars cast looking very much like their CGI models, and that is art by Fico Asio. And then retailer incentive B is by Nick Brokenshire, and that is a split screen of Optimus Primal, both in his robot mode and beast mode. Just a head, just a kind of a profile picture. So, Daryl, which cover do you like here?
Well, none of them have any G1 Transformers on it, so they all got a little something against them. But I'm gonna go with the RIA, the Fico Asio cover, because it's very colorful, and I like the amount of color in it. It jumps at you.
Cool. Yeah. Surprising. There's no G1 Transformers in a Beast Wars comic. Weird.
I'm
how that
shocked.
is. But I actually am going to agree with you on the Fico Asio retailer incentive A cover. I really like that cover. I also like how well he's captured the CGI models of the Beast Wars characters from the original show. They look really nice. The colors really pop. They look very shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like the CGI models. It's really, really well done. And this is the first time we've seen Fico Asio do Beast Wars characters. Like he usually does, he's done several G1 books or G1 IDW books in the past, and his art is very stylized. So, but this is a really faithful take on the Beast Wars characters here.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it.
They're all headshots basically. So it's he's had trouble with the Transformers bodies over the years, but it's he's done well with the headshots here. So I'm not completely giving him letting him off the hook as far as his Transformers art goes, but he's done quite well on the headshots here. The cover is really quite nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get into the story. Now, one thing I should mention is that this book is actually a supersized book. So it's not double sized. It doesn't have twice as many pages, but it does have 30 pages compared to the normal 20-page comic. So it's actually 50% bigger, and it's actually 50% more expensive. So this is a $6 cover price rather than a $4 cover price. So just be aware that when you're picking this up at the comic shop. All right, so let's talk about Beast Wars #1. On Cybertron, the Tripredacus Council is contacted by a Predacon agent via holocom. They listen as the Predacon warrior Galavar describes his plan for a Predacon conquest of Cybertron. Galavar has assembled a team of Predacons to carry out his plan. Step 1, steal the golden disc from the archives of the Science Ministry. The data encoded on it has intel on an immense source of energon. Step 2, steal a starship capable of transwarp travel so that they can go anywhere and any when in the universe, and destroy all the other ships in the shipyard so no one can pursue them. The Tripredacus Council is skeptical of his plan and forbids Galavar from taking action. But Galavar clarifies the details of his plan. He wasn't asking permission or describing a future action. He's already done it. The Tripredacus Council is enraged, but Galavar dismisses their concerns. He also tells them he no longer answers to the name Galavar. He's evolved and will now only be known as Megatron. Megatron tells them that he will succeed in his mission and bring glory and conquest to the Predacons, with him as the new ruler. With that, he abruptly ends the holo transmission. The Tripredacus Council is not impressed with this Megatron. He has initiative, but is too volatile to lead. The Council will play the long game and ultimately capitalize on Galavar's success or failure. Meanwhile, out in the furthest reaches of space, the Cybertronian exploration vessel, the Axelon, is en route to its next mission. On board, the ship's captain, Optimus Primal, is sparring with his crewmate Rhinox. As they practice hand-to-hand combat, Primal vents over his frustration with his new assignment. He appreciates being promoted to captain, but thinks they can do so much more exploration with a transwarp ship rather than just being a glorified transport ship for science experiments. As if on cue, Nyx, piloting on the bridge, sends an alert to Optimus Primal. There's a priority message from Cybertron. Looks like Optimus might get his wish for more excitement. On the bridge, Optimus Primal meets with Ironhide from Maximal Command via holocom. Ironhide explains the situation. A Predacon separatist group has stolen an important artifact and commandeered a transwarp-capable warship. The danger of these Predacons disrupting the time stream is high. With almost all the other transwarp ships on Cybertron destroyed, the Axelon, being closest to the Predacon's trajectory, is the Maximal's only option. Optimus Primal can barely hide his excitement. He orders his crew to their stations to prepare for pursuit. He tells Cheetor to get their limited weapons online just in case. If the Predacons get their transwarp ship drive online, Rhinox will rig up a signal lock so they can follow them wherever or whenever they go. And moments later, the Predacon ship appears on their scanners. Optimus Primal orders Nyx to chart an intercept course and orders Cheetor to target their propulsion systems and take them out when he has a clear shot. Rhinox voices some objections to shooting first and asking questions later, but Primal dismisses them. On the Predacon ship, Scorponok tells Megatron there's another ship in the area targeting their weapons on them. Megatron is annoyed and gives a simple order: destroy them. But it's easier said than done. Both ships trade fire back and forth, with neither gaining the advantage. Tarantulas tells Megatron he just needs a few more moments because he's unlocked the transwarp drive. So Megatron gives him the coordinates for their destination. On the Maximal ship, Rhinox detects that the Predacons have activated their transwarp drive. Primal orders him to activate the signal lock, but Rhinox is hesitant. If they follow the Predacon ship into unspace, they'll need to be very precise or risk tearing their ship apart. Nyx is confident she can maintain their course, and that's all Primal needs to hear. So both ships activate their transwarp drives and enter the space between spaces of unspace. Megatron is impressed with the piloting skills of their maximal pursuers as they are chased through unspace, but that doesn't stop him from giving the order to blast them as soon as both ships emerge on the other side. As they re-enter real space over a blue planet, the Predacon ship fires, getting a lucky shot. The Axelon's weapons are knocked offline. Without weapons, the Maximals don't have many options, but Nyx has an idea, and it's not a good one. Ramming speed. Nyx plots a collision course, and the Axelon slams into the Predacon ship. The Predacon ship is disabled, but now both ships are caught in the planet's gravity well, and they're both heading for a crash landing. Both ships crash in different locations, and their crews are knocked offline. Separately, each ship reboots and runs a scan of their surroundings. The ship's computers both come to the same conclusion. The planet is rich in energon, too much energon. The radiation is so bad that prolonged exposure will poison any unprotected Cybertronian's body. So the ship's computers scan local life forms and devise synthetic techno-organic bioforms for the crew's alternate modes to protect them from the radiation. The Beast Wars have begun. To be continued in the next issue. So I liked that they spent, they took the opportunity to spend a little more time on Cybertron. So we actually get most of the issue focusing on all the characters in their Cybertronian modes. They don't have their beast forms yet. And you see the actual break-in of Megatron's troops into, stealing the golden disc. You get a little moment from Dinobot where he shows his honorable nature, where he doesn't let the guards in the science ministry be murdered by the other Predacons. So that was nice to see Dinobot's character shining through there. You've got Rhinox's more peaceful nature showing with on the Maximal side, even though he doesn't know it, but the Predacons were not going to negotiate. So I think Primal made the right call there. The art, I like Josh Burcham's art. I think his art style is really great for this. It's really kind of a blend of one of my favorite artists, Jeff Senior, and then Transformers Animated. I think all the scenes and action scenes he's done in this book are really great. The colors really pop, like the effects, especially like when the shipyard explodes. I like the little no incidents in how many cycles, and then that sign gets destroyed. That was a nice little bit of humor. I like the start off of this book, and then when we get to the end and we get to the beginning of the Beast Wars, where everyone gets their beast forms, and it's not like a one-to-one retelling of the original cartoon, and I like that. I like that they've changed it up a little bit, and I think it's off to a good start. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm invested in this story. So those are my thoughts. So come on, Daryl. It's time for your counterpoint.
All right. Well, I liked the start of the issue where they were, doing the jewelry heist kind of deal to get the golden disc. I liked that. That was fun. The interaction between the characters was good. The Tri-Predacus Council, I know that's a very big thing in Beast Wars. So bringing them in right at the beginning is a pretty big deal. Getting the name change of Megatron is also pretty cool. And I don't know whether that was ever done in the show, but I had never known what his original name was. So cool. That's neat. The continuation of the plot, and I know that it's probably very similar in the show, but this is the G1 plot, like to a T. One chases the other. They get caught up with each other and they crash land into a planet. Like, I mean, it's almost, it's almost shot for shot the original G1, story outline. And I mean, you'll have to correct me, but is that what happens in the show, like the original Beast Wars show?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the difference with I think the difference with this one is that in the original G1 show, you actually had the Decepticons boarding the Autobot ship and fighting hand to hand.
Sure.
And I think in the Beast Wars show, you didn't have the budget to design all the models for these characters before they had their beast form. So it would have just been unworkable for them to have that much battle in the show. So they kept it to just a spaceship battle in the show. And yeah, so I mean, it wasn't exact. The spaceship battle was not exactly the same, but it was pretty much like both ships were fighting each other, and they both disable. They wind up disabling each other's ships, and they both crash. But yeah, I mean, so it is pretty much the main story beat is taken directly from the original cartoon. But yeah, I mean, and that also is a taking the story beat from the original G1 cartoon. So yeah,
I mean, it's I don't know whether it's a complaint, but because they are repeating and they are using the original source material, which is never a problem if they're doing something as like an homage. But they're given they had the opportunity to do something completely different here. And they chose to do the exact same thing, which again, I'm not saying is wrong. I'm just saying is, it's, for me, it's a missed opportunity. They could have been creative and done something different. But perhaps they had to do it this way. I don't know. But for me, I noticed it right off the bat, seeing as it being the very similar opening to the original G1 show. The fact that I see that Josh has put a couple little things here and there into his art, and then that's pretty cool. Whereas like where I noticed it was at the very end, when Megatron is standing outside the ship, and the little lizard gets picked up by the I'm assuming it's an eagle of some kind. But yeah, so that that's just kind of neat little thing. I can't tell like if that panel is redrawn or if it's just kind of reused at 3 different times. It looks like it's just kind of reused 3 different times, and that kind of bugs me because it's just there's a couple of different places where the shadows change, but essentially it looks exactly the same. Three different panels. The characters change, and a couple of movements change, but the background's exact same. And as far as the backgrounds go, the art, as far as the backgrounds, like I was saying, they get the same kind of critique as a lot of the, as like I say with the main line with Anna's art. There aren't a lot of backgrounds, and that is a big problem for me. When there is a background, it's fine and that's good, but there are a lot of panels here with nothing in the background, and it's just kind of like a gradient, and it's just to kind of for you to focus on the foreground, and that's fine, but that there's stuff in the background, or there should be, and I mean, there's got to be some stuff in the background here. There was a sequence of panels when Primal is fighting, I think it's Rhinox, or must have been Rhinox. And it's very bland, and there's nothing really going on as far as the art. The character design, I like it. It looks good. I don't, we really, like you said, we really only see their Cybertronian modes for the most part here, but I like their character designs. I think it's good. Josh's art is very, it's squared off, I guess. It's not very
angular.
Round. Angular. There you go. Yeah, it's very angular, which is cool. I like that a lot. especially for someone who's not a huge fan of the bestial stuff. So it's it's going to be very soft and curved. So seeing a lot of angles is really I'm a lot very for that. But yeah, so I'd prefer to see some stuff in the background. But I the character designs are really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the beast mode, alt modes and stuff like that, just to see what what they turn out to look like. I mean, we've got a little bit here, but yeah, we'll see what it does in issue 2. I mean, it's okay right now, but I'm not sold on this series. It's yeah, I might give it a C right now if I had to grade it.
And we don't do review grades here. That's so I actually, so I mean, I obviously would grade it higher than you, but I think when we get further on into like in the back of the book, there's an interview with both the writer Eric Burnham and the artist Josh Burcham. And Eric Burnham mentions that he wanted to start on kind of familiar ground with the Beast Wars story and like in the first arc, but it's going to diverge quite a bit from the original Beast Wars story. So I think, I hear your complaint about it, rehashing the same material, but I think he just wants to start it on a familiar footing so people, old school Beast Wars fans, don't get put off, and then he can take the story and take it in his own direction from there. So,
okay,
we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think for the first issue, I'm okay with that.
Sure. I mean, he could rehash after that. He could rehash anything from the show because I haven't seen it.
Yes, we know.
When you start putting G1 episodes as Beast Wars episodes, then I'm going to call you on it because that I've seen.
And I did like that in the book, we get a lot of sketches and designs from Josh here. We've got the sketches of the two ships, the Axelon and the Dark Side. We've got all the sketches of all the character designs of the Maximals and Predacons in their Cybertronian modes, including the Tripredacles Council and Ironhide, which I guess Ironhide is there's a Beast Wars Ironhide character, which is part of, I think, the Magna Boss combiner.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what this is based on. But I would have liked to have it. I mean, I think the implication is that this is G1 Ironhide upgraded as a Maximal. So it would have been nice to maybe have the head look like that, just to have a little bit of a callback.
I have that figure, and he doesn't look like Ironhide.
Oh, okay. Then we'll have to ask Josh where this design comes from then.
Well, no. I mean, he doesn't look like G1 Ironhide. This looks much more like the Beast Wars Ironhide.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I figured. This was based on the Beast Wars Ironhide figure.
Yeah.
But I would just say, have his head, maybe his face be G1 Ironhide or something. I don't know.
But that's wrong, Charles.
All right. All right. Well, those are our thoughts on Beast Wars #1. Like I said, Jeremy is going to record his thoughts, and so I'll throw to him right now. He'll insert his thoughts here, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. So, Jeremy, take it away. What were your thoughts on Beast Wars #1?
Thanks, Charles. I agree with a lot of what both of you guys were saying about things like the backgrounds. I disagree greatly with Daryl saying it's a repeat of the G1 story. I mean, it kind of is, but Beast Wars Episode 1 was as well. And I like what Eric Burnham said in the in the interview at the back of the book, where he was told to approach it as basically kind of the Ultimates Beast Wars, where it'll start off similar and then diverge. And we already have 2 new characters that weren't in the original. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going, but I thought this was a very strong start. I loved the concept, seeing the heist and seeing how competent Megatron is as a leader in planning out this whole thing, where you think that he's going to the Tripredacus Council for permission, and basically it's a diversion. He's just telling them. So I thought that played off very well. And I particularly loved just, there was a 3-panel thing where you see like at a work site, no incidents in whatever days or something. And I love how they just kind of blew a hole in that sign. Thought that was a nice gag. It did take me a little while to get used to the new designs of these characters, and I'm sure it's going to take a while to get used to them again in, like, now that they have their beast forms. So their robot modes are also going to vary a little bit, as did in the show. But I like the design choices here. Not as big on Primal's little ear antenna, but they'll grow on me, I'm sure. I do love that. Who is it? Nyx, one of the new characters, is based off of the original Bat Optimus Primal toy. I like that. And just as a Beast Wars fan, I loved so much about this. Daryl was doing a lot of nitpicking, and I don't know. It didn't bother me. Things like where he said it seemed like some art was reused, and I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out. I did notice the backgrounds, and that's something we've mentioned in other recent comics, but I think that this is off to a great start, and I really enjoyed it. Both Josh and Eric did great work, and I will say one thing that did bug me about it, and I don't know if this is going to continue through the series or not, but we had like in a few panels there would be something like a few clicks later or something like that. And I'm not opposed to using that, but in some of these, they were in boxes with like no background, so they were kind of hard to read at times. And actually, all of them had clear backgrounds, and it was hard to read some of them because of the image that they were superimposed on top of. So I would suggest that be like, give it a kind of an opaque background or a full solid background, something just to make it easier to read if you're going to do that. But that was my biggest complaint, I think, as I was reading it. So like I said, I'm looking forward to where this is going. I'm looking forward to making Daryl watch some of the Beast Wars cartoons soon, because I have a feeling we're going to need to go both routes with this and just make Daryl kind of finally admit that Beast Wars was a great series. So that's my thoughts. I will turn it back to you guys.
And that was our review of Transformers Beast Wars #1. Thanks, Jeremy, for adding your thoughts. Sorry you couldn't be with us for the review, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'm sure you did. And that was it for Transformers Beast Wars issue 1. So now we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right. In media news this week, I mean, this story made its way around social media pretty quickly, and it came out last week. So we just I don't know why we didn't do it, but maybe we were running long. I think that's why we skipped it. But a vintage G1 costume was found, and this is kind of cool because even I mean, it wasn't anything that I ever remember seeing, but this was something that was like old G1 commercials and promotional events. This is an old costume for Jazz and Thundercracker. And now that we've been in the fandom for a while, these old promotional event pictures and old, commercials and stuff, they pop up every now and then. And you see these old costumes, you think, what the hell were these? And they actually found the damn costumes, which is insane. So the story goes is that these things have been sitting in some kind of production inventory warehouse, and it's in Cooperstown, Pennsylvania, which I'm assuming is across the street from Charles. So
I think it's on the other side of the state, unfortunately.
Okay. But they're fairly well made according to the tweet here, and that there seems to be some kind of inner voice changer in the helmet as well, which is awesome. So that's really cool. There's a ton of images of these things, so take a look at the story if you're interested. But like even just looking at some of these costumes, I can make out like hockey gloves as part of the costume. The costume shoes, you can see somebody's actual shoes just kind of, sewn into the robot feet. This costume is straight out of the 80s. I love it. They're fantastic. The Thundercracker one is a lot more elaborate. Same kind of hockey gloves for hands. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. This thing would have weighed a ton. You would have sweat buckets in it. But yeah, it looks incredible. I can't imagine anyone trying to wear this after this many years, but damn, it looks really good. Charles, what do you think about seeing these? Do you remember seeing any of the promotional imagery of these guys? Did you ever see them at a mall?
No, I mean, I think I saw archival footage of this stuff, but I don't think as a kid I remember actually seeing like even like on TV or commercials with this. But I mean, this is really cool. I'm really taken aback by looking at the electronics that like for the voice changer part, like you've got these giant speakers there, and yeah. it's like almost just like raw transistors there, and then 4 AA batteries. It's like all that electronics you could probably fit like into a tiny chip now.
Mm-hmm. It's a wonder why the guy wearing the suit didn't get electrocuted.
It's just, I mean, but this is pretty. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you're a collector, this would be something cool to have. But yeah, it is pretty beat up. It hasn't been really well preserved. I mean, I think these things were not meant to last, so it's not surprising. No. But yeah, I would not risk putting this on.
No, I mean, it's one of those things that a collector would want. Like, I'm sure it's got to smell like I have hockey equipment that's old, and even though it's been stored and it's been dried and cleaned, it still smells bad. And this stuff has got to be ripe. So I can only imagine this stuff smells horrendous. But a collector would want this. Like, I'm looking at it thinking, like, if I got a mannequin, I could put that in the corner and put this on the mannequin, and it just would look dope. And it's one of those things, like, you'd make an excuse to have this ginormous Thundercracker costume in your house, right? But I can't imagine, just a normal person having this. You'd have to have it in some kind of like museum piece or some ginormous room in your home for it or something like that. But I can't wait to figure out where this ends up. I hope it's displayed somewhere.
Yep. I wonder if there were other characters besides Jazz and Thundercracker that they had made these costumes for.
I don't know. I distinctly remember seeing Jazz. So, I don't remember Thundercracker, but Jazz I do remember in seeing in pictures as, as I got more and more heavily into the fandom and, looked at the history of G1 stuff. But yeah, this is cool. If you actually saw these guys in costume, like at a mall or something as a kid, let us know. I'm really curious as to how this kind of the interaction worked. Because if these voice box things worked and, they would talk to you and it sounded like, some kind of rendition of a robot, then that's really cool. But yeah, this is neat stuff. Moving on, we have one other story for media news, and that is that Cyberverse is not done yet. We talked about it before. Season 4 is still a go, and season 4 is actually going to be 2 movies. They thought maybe it's going to be 1, and now it's 2. So we've got 2 movies. We did know it was 2, but you kind of get lost in all the news that comes out. So we're getting 2 movies, which will consist the entirety of season 4. Charles, remind me, how many minutes were each episode?
Each episode was 11 minutes. So these movies are 44 minutes each, which would be basically 4 of the original Cyberverse episodes. So this is each. Yeah, an 8 episode season, I guess.
That's not bad. Just to kind of close it out. So we're getting the movie 1. We got a title. It's called The Immobilizers. And that it is, like you said, running 44 minutes. The official synopsis is that the entire planet of Cybertron becomes frozen in time. Cool. Not a bad plot. Movie 2, The Perfect Decepticon. And then we have a 44-minute runtime again. And the official synopsis is the peace treaty between the Autobots and the Decepticons is put to the test. And we have a picture here to go with this story of a very Cyberverse looking Tarn. And I believe we've talked about this before, that Tarn is likely going to be in these things at some point. I'm super stoked about seeing a Cyberverse Tarn. So yeah, there's no indication on when these are coming out yet, but getting news like this for these 2 movies is really exciting. So they're underway. Production is moving along, and it'll be sometime in the future. It's not like they're killing it. So yeah, it's are you excited about this, Charles? This is something that I'm just like, I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Cyberverse, and I'm happy to see that they're getting another set of episodes. I think the first 3 seasons of Cyberverse are great. I mean, the ending of season 3 we haven't talked about it yet on the show. I mean, I think we're about midway through season 3 and we haven't gotten there yet. But the ending of season 3 was really strong. But I do think there wasn't a lot of closure. Like, they didn't spend a lot of time on like closure in the final episode. So I hope they get to do that with these 2 movies.
Right on. All right. Well, we will be waiting with bated breath for the next little bit of news about the 2 season 4 movies for Cyberverse. But that's it. That's all I got for media news.
All right. And that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for continuing to listen. And, of course, we end every show by giving a shout-out to our Masterpiece Donatreons. So thank you again to John 4X Levengood and Dinobot Maximize for continuing to support the show at such a high level. You guys are awesome, and that's why we give you an individual shout-out in every episode. So thanks, guys, and we will see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Daryl, you know, we love you, Daryl.
Do I? You haven't been to visit me in like over a year.
It's not my fault. I mean, the Canadian government is barring me from visiting you currently. So,
well, right now I'm barring you from visiting me. So,
oh, okay.